July 1974, from For the Love of Vietnam, A War, a Family, a CIA official, and the best evacuation story never heard. Things started out well enough, it seemed. We were given a warm welcome by my father's employees, and my mother, a consummate traveler, was thrilled to be in Saigon. Her eyes lit up as we drove through the crowded streets. "The city is fun," she said. "The lights and atmosphere are so nice." Upon arrival, she described our house at 90A Lee Quan Tran Street as quite beautiful, but because it still needed a little bit of work, including the installation of air conditioners, a telephone, and a washer and dryer, we decided to stay with our father at the Midtown Duke Hotel, conveniently located just a few blocks from the American Embassy. The CIA had turned the 6-story building into quite the residential complex, heavily fortified with barbed wire and sandbags, though it was. It was complete with pool, restaurant, and movie theater. On our first night there, I looked out our 4th-floor window to see a Vietnamese man walking along the sidewalk below, just outside the high steel fence, a shadow in the saffron haze of the streetlight. He had a gun propped on his shoulder. "What's he doing?" I asked from my cozy pile of pillows on the couch. "He's a soldier," said my 13-year-old brother, Chris. "There's a curfew on. If you go outside right now, you'd get shot." I stared at the man, just a few stories below me, separated only by glass and my parents' protection. I wasn't afraid then. I wasn't anything. I was just trying to figure out what kind of adventure we were on after all. We didn't stay at the Duke Hotel for long. It was just too cramped with the 9 of us there, and the togetherness was driving us all up a wall. My father, feeling inundated after 2 years of living a bachelor's lifestyle, was more than happy to order up a few embassy cars to transport us and all our luggage to our new home, just a few blocks away. As I trailed after my siblings through the wide front door into the cool interior of the 3-story house, I took note of the high ceilings of and the tile floors, which felt cool on my feet and gave the house a spacious feeling. But I couldn't help but notice that I felt hemmed in by the windows. I could not quite see through them. They weren't glass, but a droopy, opaque plastic. I opened another set of French doors and was delighted to find a small central courtyard. The house was shaped like a big square donut, and in the center was a small blue fish pond right under a patch of open sky. It was empty now, but maybe it could be filled. That would be fun. Chris followed me into the courtyard, and I pointed to the plastic coverings on the door. "Why are they plastic?" I asked. "In case of bombs," he said. "They won't shatter." I stared at the wilting material. After a moment, I thought maybe that was okay. At least glass wouldn't fly everywhere in case of bombs. Little did I know then, but I was acquiring a new skill, one that would be tested over and over again in the 9 months in Vietnam. I was quickly learning how to normalize a situation, that is, to conjure up a sense of safety where there really was none. Despite the pressing demands of unpacking, home repairs, and managing a staff of 3 maids, 1 driver, several armed guards at the front gate, and her kids, my mother managed to get most of us enrolled in the Phoenix Study Group, which held summer and school year classes for the 250 elementary and grade school Americans in the city at the time. Oddly enough, the school shared a name with the CIA's most notorious anti-communist crusade, the Phoenix Program. Sparked in 1967 as part of the reorganization of the war effort, the government of South Vietnam reincorporated all of its counterinsurgency activities into this program, dubbed Phuong Hang, a reference to a magical bird. In turn, their American counterparts adopted the name of the West's magical bird, the phoenix. That program's protocol was to round up, interrogate, and sometimes fatally torture South Vietnamese citizens, including the elderly, in an attempt to rout out any Viet Cong. In a war in which the enemy soldier could look exactly like a friendly villager, desperate measures were taken in an attempt to protect U.S. soldiers from hidden threats. These efforts, known as rural pacification, cost the lives of countless Vietnamese civilians, and one cannot help conclude the peace of mind and self-respect of the American soldiers who were at times forced into torture and murder. At the time the little school in Saigon took its own magical bird name, the Phoenix program was probably a still well-kept secret, but it's disconcerting to think that the educational institution I attended for most of my third grade year shared a name with a systematic government control operation. That coincidence could very well be the reason that the board of directors planned to change the school name in time for the 1975-76 opening of the school year. However, by that time, the school no longer existed.